Hey, welcome back to the Google Classroom. We are going to be working on point perspective. So last week we worked on purely observational techniques. Observational techniques, simply put, are ways of representing the world on a flat surface, so your piece of paper, or if you're a painter, canvas, where you just draw exactly what you see. Your mind has a way of taking shortcuts, and it's an efficiency thing, so it's not always bad. It has a symbol system. So a lot of times, like when people ask you to draw an eye, you draw like, a football shape and put a circle in it, but that's really not what an eye looks like. So when we use these observational techniques, what we're trying to do is turn that part of our brain that wants to take shortcuts off and really look at something for what it is. I was doing some reading and a book on art, go figure, and it made a really interesting point about where you guys are at as adolescents, and what that means for you as artists. And they call it the stage of panic, of great panic, because your brain is growing and you're learning and you're getting so much better at perceiving the world. And now this is the first time that maybe you look back at a drawing and you're like, I don't know about that. Whereas when you're a little kid up until, let's say, age 8, anything you draw you're really happy with because you don't have the capacity to really understand much more than simple drawings. So a lot of people around 4th grade, it's when that kicks in and they just say, okay, art isn't for me. So congratulations for sticking with it, by the way. What we're going to do today is we're not going to forget about observational drawing techniques. They are important, but you have to keep yourself balanced. And so now we're going to look at constructive techniques, which is, it sounds like building, it is building, you're building. Today is planes and one-point boxes, and then maybe an interior drawing. We'll get more into that in the demo. Definitely, when you're done, post your work to the assignment in the Google Classroom. I'm going to talk more about it more at the demo table. I'd really like to have some student work to go over. So, that being said, we're going to go ahead and jump over to the demo table, get started. Thanks for checking in today, guys. All right, guys, here we go. Back at the demo table, constructive principles, introduction. So you guys know there's 2 types of objects. Well, 3 if you want to. There's a line, okay, and I'm doing this in blue, and I'll go over it in black. And then there is a shape, even if it's a junky square like I just drew. And then there's a form, okay? And each of these has a different number of dimensions. Lines really, so a line does have width, but for us, a line really is just point A to point B, and it can be diagonal, zigzag, but the line is like your most elemental, when you're drawing, it's your most fundamental element. And then you have shapes, which have 2 dimensions. They have height and they have width. And if you measure the height and measure the width, you can use math and figure out the area. But they're flat. And everything we have here is going to be flat because it is a drawing. But with a form, you have height. So these black lines show the height. And then you have the width, okay, the curved lines show the width. But you also have the illusion, so I can measure how wide it is, I can measure how tall it is. You also have the illusion of depth. This diagonal line is like a line that this is near and that is far. Like drawing is hard. There's no such thing as easy drawing. Even drawings that look bad, or maybe you're not happy with, like that, you still worked hard on that drawing. But everybody wants to be able to draw and have the illusion of form. So what we're going to do is we're going to figure out how we can use a flat sheet of paper productively and maybe create an illusion. More pessimistic artists call this lying. Like you're always going to have the college art professor who's like, you know what, guys, we are in the business of telling lies. and they're going to think they're so cool for saying that. But I don't think lying's great, so we're going to say illusions. I think illusion is a much better word for this. So where we go from here is, if you have a flat surface, all right, imagine my piece of paper is not a white piece of paper. It's actually a piece of glass. And it's like this white space that we're in, all right? This shape, when we're talking about form, when we're talking about objects that have, or drawings that have the representation or the illusion of 3 dimensions, this shape can also be called a plane, okay? A plane is a flat surface. And the way this shape, this plane, is drawn, it looks like it's just sitting down flat. Like if this were a piece of glass, this could be like a little post-it that's on our piece of glass. A little post-it with a reminder, get eggs. Okay, that's my reminder, my post-it. Now planes can have the illusion of going back in space or coming forth in space. So maybe, what if I do this? Okay, if I have one side that's long and I have a second side over here that's shorter. Let's see if I can get this right. Okay, now I have a note that it looks like this side is close and that side is far. If it doesn't, I can add more information to kind of like, I could, to sell it. But how did I figure that out? You know, how do I figure out how things appear, you know, near and far? Maybe, just as a little fun thing, I could show you guys, I've got this little note card here on the black side. This is not an ad. Don't demonetize me, YouTube. Now notice, when I tilt it, okay, the one side, like the top and bottom plane, they change. They're no longer oriented perfectly with my notepad, okay? They tilt, and that's how it looks like it's going back in space, because this side up here is closer and this side up here is further. So what we're going to do is we're going to use perspective systems. We're going to use a vanishing point. So vanishing point. And a vanishing point is a way of estimating how 2 lines would appear in a 3-dimensional area relative to the viewer, which is a lot to unpack. Let's think of it this way, okay? Let's say we have the side of a building, all right? And we're looking straight at it. And it's a building that has, like, that's like the siding, you know, like the old country, old-timey siding. Okay, if we're looking straight at it, all these lines are parallel to each other. The siding, you know, the siding is parallel. But if maybe we were looking at it from a different angle, the one side, the closer side, would appear large, and then as things get further away, the further side would be small, and we would have the siding would also change. You guys see that? Let's continue. So when you want to draw a plane in space, you first set your vanishing point. Your vanishing point is like, if it were a video game, it would be like the little aimer. Like when you play Minecraft, there's those little cursors. And by the way, video games use point perspective a lot. So if you're a gamer, you could be okay. And then we're going to set our edge. And what I'm going to do is, if you were doing official, you know, teacup, where you've got the, you know, you hold your teacup and you got your pinky out. Let's see if I can do that. Can't. You would draw directly to the vanishing point, but I teach soft perspective, so we're going to go a little bit wide, a little bit out from the vanishing point. All right, it gives a more naturalistic look. Now, right now we have a plane that could theoretically go as far back in space as we wanted. We could break it off here. Notice this line is parallel to that line. Or if we wanted a longer box, we could break it off here. Either one, it's dealer's choice. You could slide it as far back as you wanted. So let's There we go. And then maybe down here, now this is the secret sauce, by the way, guys. When you build multiple planes off of the same vanishing point, you start to create a sense of environment. A lot of times when you draw, it's not about drawing one thing well, it's about drawing many things relating to each other in a way that makes sense. Because remember, we're drawing things that are three-dimensional, but our paper only has 2 dimensions. So when you start to do this, it might not look like much, but if you set a vanishing point and maybe you set your first plane here, you actually can do some things that are kind of fun. Like you can, now notice they're converging towards the vanishing point. There we go. Okay, I got my 3 lines. I've got one front plane, and then I've got these planes that are, so I've got front plane, side plane, bottom plane, and then because I am the dutiful artist that I am, I always draw through. I draw the other planes. So I actually, this is one box, but it's made of 6 planes, okay? I'll lead you through a step-by-step in just a second, but I just want to point out that I like to give my viewer, the black lines are for the lines that they'd see, and my blue lines are for what they wouldn't see. So I've got my box, it's going back in space. How about a step-by-step tutorial? Maybe that's what I should have started with. So here we go. I've got my same vanishing point. Step 1 is to draw a plane in the, now this is a word I haven't used yet, so don't freak out, orthographic view. So this plane is at the same angle as my picture plane. It's the post-it note. It's stuck right on there, okay? When you first start with perspective, ortho, or whatever's even with your picture plane, is what you want to rely on because it's the easiest to figure out, okay? Things that are at an angle are tricky. And then we're going to take from the corner, we're going to draw the top plane, and these 2 lines are going to go back. And then we are going to decide how far back with a line that is parallel. You guys see how I did that? Parallel. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go from this corner out to the vanishing point, and then from this, right now I take a, this is tricky here, but we can do it. Vertical, and then vertical, and then those establish my bottom plane. Let's, there's a lot going on there, and remember that this blue represents your light pencil, so use light pencil. Let's clean that up. My lines are a little wobbly today. And you know what? The thing is, I used to be like the Mr. like, oh, I gotta have like these razor sharp, crisp, fast lines. I'm kind of liking the wobbliness because they're done with care. So if your lines are wobbly and you're aware of that, please do not be too hard on yourself. As long as you're, you know, working towards doing better, you're gonna be okay. So there you go. There's my box. We've got the front side right here. It's going back in space. What you can do is you can draw like really nice, interesting scenes. And what I want to offer to you is option A, option B. Option A. All right. Option A is to draw 10 one-point perspective boxes. All right. I don't care if you are brand new to art, or if you're me, or if you're the art instructors I learned from. Drawing boxes in perspective is it's just as important as eating breakfast. It's something, if you want to get better, you have to do every day. But I also understand that you might be coming out of one of my art classes from the year, and we did some of this, So if you feel like you're ready for something new, I would also like to give you option B. And option B is to either draw the inside of a room or the outside of a building. And so that's what I'm going to do. So right now, this area I'm drawing, this is like, it's like the edges of a photograph, okay? This is my space. I think that is so important to define the space you're working in. And I'm a big proponent of drawing big, but I think sometimes also drawing at like this side, especially for like the more experimental stuff we're doing or the more divergent opportunities where, it's not, did you get it right? Did you get it wrong? It's, is this right for you? Okay, so we're going to start with a vanishing point. And I'm going to switch to my blue because I'm good, but I'm not that good. I don't know if I can get it first try. This blue has been a great addition. So my vanishing point is here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw the back wall of this building. All right, so, or this interior. All right, so we're drawing the... All right, so now I want to figure out what my my ceiling, my floor, and my sides are going to look like. There is a temptation, and it is to just connect corner to corner, and that is incorrect. If you find yourself doing that, you may want to use a straight edge of some form. I have them here at my drawing table. I've had this guy since I was in college. This is like my trusty straight edge. And it drives me nuts because it's unlabeled. So I just have I wish I could buy more of them. If anybody sees these in a store or knows who makes these, email me. That would be awesome. So I'm going to use my straight edge. I'm going to align it with the vanishing point, and I'm going to swing it in until it hits with the corner, okay? Then I'm going to draw a line. Ta-da! Next one, I'm going to align it with the edge, bring it out to the corner, and then I'm going to draw that line. Notice that I'm modeling good drawing form. Yeah, when I was young, I was not patient, and there is value to just kind of carefully working your way through. So corner, out, and we go to here, and we work. And that one hits pretty close to the edge, but it goes to the finishing point. So I've got the back of my room. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, all right, room, maybe I think I want to, okay, we got the middle. Let's find the center line of that room. So vanishing point to the center, I split the difference from here to here is the middle. All right, I'm going to do one of these guys. All right, so we got that. And then I think I'm going to split the difference one more time. Oh shoot, that's a mistake. Maybe we'll make that into a win later. If you make a mistake, please don't start over. It's like the difference between like a student artist and a professional artist isn't that the pros don't make mistakes and the students do. It's the pros, they know how to turn their mistakes into like, it looks like it was on purpose. I've watched professional artists, they'll do like these three-hour demos, and it's, they won't, if they don't know you, they're not going to tell you this, but like, I've gotten to the point where they'll talk to me, and they're like, oh yeah, right here, here, and here, like, I totally screwed up, this artist's exact words were, but I was able to reel it in and save the day. So, there you go. So, I've got my paneled floor, and I think in this room, perhaps I would like a couch. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how I draw couches. I do the letter L in bubble, and then I set a vanishing point, and then I connect, and I put some little feet on it. So there's my couch. Okay, I test drove it. This is I mean, you look at it, it's not a high quality drawing, but a lot of times, my big mantra has been try it before you buy it, and I think that a quick sketch like this is great to do, it might save you some headache in your drawing because you don't want to mess up in your drawing. So what did I start with? I started with a near letter L. So let's draw a line here. It's vertical. All my vertical lines are parallel. And then let's draw a line over. Let's not have it line up perfectly with the floor. That would look weird. And then let's finish the L. All right. And then let's, there's my vanishing point. I'm using a ruler today, so, you know, that's cool. I don't often use a ruler, but I thought maybe you guys would like to see me use a ruler. And then I'm going to use the floor as kind of like my... Alright, so there's my couch. Put the little feet on it. Alright, so let's just leave it as a room with a couch. Let's not go crazy. And then let's darken it up. Alright, so and maybe, okay, so I presented option A was to draw 10 boxes, and option B was to, let's put some dots on it too, give it a little character. Option B was to draw an interior. Maybe option C is you try to do this the best you can. You just copy my drawing. That's fair game. So I would spend, you know, this is a 20-minute demo, so I would maybe spend 20 minutes on your drawing, picture frame in the background. Spend 20 minutes on a drawing. Make sure that you submit a picture of it to the Google Classroom, because at our next meet tomorrow, Tuesday, what I'd like to do for you guys is maybe grab one or two of them, and if there are any errors, which there better be, because you guys are in 6th, 7th, and 8th grade, so it's like no one gets these perfect. I'd like to just, I think that I can do some draw over corrections, and we can all learn from them. So you know, if you're super sensitive about your work, please, you can say, okay, don't use my example. But the thing is, typically the people who are the most sensitive are also the ones who make the work that is best for critiquing, because they make the best mistakes. Not every mistake is good, but some of the mistakes you guys make, it's like, oh, this is the best mistake ever, because I remember making that mistake when I was learning this. And if you're making a mistake, I know, I have a pretty good idea, I should say, of how to address it and make the corrections so you can learn. So anyways, be brave. So anywho, take it easy. Can't wait to meet up with you guys on Tuesday. Adios.